So before I begin my actual review of Little Women, I just want to give you a word of warning. I haven't read the books or seen the other movies, so just wanted to give you a heads up. What's up, guys, and welcome to Movie Importance movie review of the umpteenth adaptation of Little Women, the newest film from director Greta Gerwig, and it stars Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson, Florence Pugh, Eliza Scanlen, Timothée Chalamet, Laura Dern, Louis Garrel, Chris Cooper, Tracy Letts, Bob Odenkirk, and Meryl Streep. So this story of Little Women, unfortunately, like I said, I've never read it or seen any of the movies, but it's written by Louisa May Alcott, and it's considered a classic and a genre-defining novel based on the fact that it deals with four headstrong women who live in a poverty-stricken world. Like I said, I've heard the book's great. I've heard the Winona Ryder adaptation is really good, but I've also heard like many other adaptations are really good of this book, but I just never have seen them because it's never something that's interested me. But when they brought Greta Gerwig, who had done Lady Bird, I got extremely excited because she is a fantastic writer. She's a fantastic director. She brought back Saoirse Ronan and Timothée Chalamet, who were both in those movies. And it's just, I don't know. There was something interesting about this movie, and I heard that there's some little different takes on it. There's some kind of a wraparound story that's not in the book, and from everything I've gathered from what I see in this story, it's basically the story about four young girls, very headstrong girls who are very close together. They live poverty stricken. They live with their mom, who is played by Laura Dern, and they love each other. They do things for each other, but they have their differences. Saoirse Ronan, who plays Jo, is kind of the main character in this movie, and she's a writer. She's very inventive, but she's kind of wanting to be her own person. And then we got Meg, who is played by Emma Watson, who more is a traditional woman, like where she wants to have a family and have kids and so on and so forth. We have Amy, who's played by Florence Pugh, who kind of wants to get past the fact that she's poverty stricken, so she wants a rich person, or like to marry a rich person. And then we have Beth, who's played by Eliza Scanlen, who is the kind of the character that everybody rotates around. She's kind of simple, but she's a good natured character, and she has the most character kind of arc outside of Jo. And then, of course, we have Lawrence, who is played by Timothée Chalamet, who's kind of like the young guy who comes from a kind of a rich family. His grandfather is played by Chris Cooper, but he kind of becomes kind of attracted to Jo because of how different she is. But he loves all the girls together, and it really kind of shows. And like I said, I don't really know much about the story, but if this story is what Greta Gerwig is showing me and what I saw, this story is fantastic. The whole idea of these characters kind of going day by day, they have their little ticks, they have their little interesting moments, and they're kind of given like just equal screen time. And it's just a fantastic look at just life in the poverty stricken world of, I think this was like the 1800s or maybe early 1900s. Bob Odenkirk, who plays the father of these young girls, he's off into a war, so they're always hearing like letters from him and stuff like that. It's just a really fun movie. It's a really interesting movie. You can tell this is a movie that was, or the story was written way back in the day in the 1800s when Alcott was alive. And it's just a really fascinating look at just these characters and how the story plays out. There's very emotional moments. There's moments where, you really get invested with them and things happen and you kind of cry, or you get excited, or you get laugh, so on and so forth. And that's all because of Alcott, but it's also because of Greta Gerwig, who's just a fantastic writer. When you're adapting a book that's a classic like this, that's been adapted so many times, you want to kind of add your own spin on it, and that's what Greta Gerwig has done. There's a lot of times where people complain about the fact that a lot of women in movies are always there because they're servicing the guy in essence of the story. But here we have the guys are, in service of the women, who are very headstrong and very, for themselves. And yeah, they want, lives, and they want husbands and so on and so forth. But when you have a character like the character Saoirse Ronan is playing, who's played Joe, she's a different archetype of a woman that we don't see very often. And I really like that about this movie. And I think it's fascinating. I think it's awesome. And it just plays really well on screen. I think the character that really kind of interests me the most in this movie is Amy, who's played by Florence Pugh. I think she's, if I read right and I see on the screen, she's fantastic. She is kind of the standout. It's just the way she plays her character, the way she acts, the way she interacts with her sisters, the ticks and kind of the things she does and how she plays the part. She does some stuff that really upsets Joe, and then she does some stuff that, is just very simple but very kind of kinetic to watch. And that's what makes Florence Pugh such a great actress, is not only is she doing a great role in this movie, but she also was great in Midsummer. She was great in Fighting My Family. And it's just, she's coming to her own as an actress that's very dependable and doing great jobs with the great roles that she's giving. But it's a fantastic role that she has in this movie. And like I said, Emma Watson's fantastic. Eliza Scanlen is probably the one actress that doesn't get as much, but it's probably because of the way she's written in the book. Other characters in this, we got like Timothée Chalamet is fantastic. We got Chris Cooper, who is really fantastic this year. He's been in this, and then he's had A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And I love that Chris Cooper is kind of coming back as kind of a force of fun to watch, because he's so different than what you're used to seeing him in. And of course, Laura Dern and Bob Odenkirk they're good. They're there to service the purpose of the mother and the father, so they do their job properly, and they're always good. And Bob Odenkirk, when he comes on, you love seeing him. And same thing with Laura Dern, and so on and so forth. And then Tracy Letts comes in as the book author in this movie, and he's Tracy Letts, so if you know him, he's very fantastic at whatever he does. Meryl Streep, on the other hand, is just beautiful. I mean, Meryl Streep there's not much you can say that hasn't been said before. She's an actress that is of uncanny caliber I've ever seen. Her demeanor and her unflinching attitude towards her family is some of the funniest moments in the movie. She is just like very evil and very mean. She always tears down her family because she's very rich, and she's like, you have to get a really rich husband, and she calls her, her granddaughter's just kind of scum and all that stuff. And it's really, like, when you watch it, it's really funny to see her take on a role as kind of like Devil Wears Prada in a way, but just not as mean and uncomfortable. But Meryl Streep is just chewing up scenery in here, and it's just fantastic. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is Greta Gerwig herself. Like I said in the beginning, Lady Bird's a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. There is something special about this director. She is just outstanding at everything she does. You go back and watch Lady Bird, you go back and watch any script that she's ever written. She has a way of writing fantastic female characters, as well as male characters, but female characters in general. She gives them a power, she gives them a prowess, she gives them a just fantastic look and fantastic feel, and just a kind of headstrong, character moments. And yeah, it's because of, Alcott in her book, but Greta Gerwig has just formatted this movie into something truly kind of special. And then on top of that, she's a director, so she has to film the movie, and that's where she also truly succeeds, because you look at the visuals, you look at the camera work, you look at the costuming, you just look at the way it's shot. It's just a beautiful film. It just looks gorgeous. It's just well done. It's going to get probably a lot of Oscar nominations just for those alone, from like the writing to the cinematography to the sets to the costuming. Greta Gerwig is just she's just so good at what she does, and it just shows once again just why she does what she does and does it so well. And she's just built this world that, could be ham-fisted, it could be cheap, it could be another just adaptation of a classic novel, but she has found a way to hit it out of the park. And doing that wraparound story, like I said, that she does in this movie kind of gives it more of a unique feel than a lot of other stories. So I give a lot of credit to Greta Gerwig. It's fantastic what she did, and I really respect her for that. And I hope she continues doing great work, because, this is her second film that she's directed, and it's beautiful to watch, at least, and as well as a good movie in general. So, But anyways, that'll do it. Also, I should say the music's really good in this movie too. But yeah, so that'll do it. That's my take on Little Women. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, of course, hit the subscribe button. Join Movie Emporium. Comment below. Tell me what you think of Little Women in general. Let me know in the DMs kind of like what movie I should watch. Should I watch the one unrated version? Should I watch another version? I'm interested in the story now because it looks fun if I see another version of it, and I'd be interested to read the book. So, but anyways, subscribe to Movie Emporium, hit the notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next, and of course, comment below on any video that you watch on my channel. But otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for checking out Movie Emporium. I really appreciate it. If you want to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button and the bell at the top. Find out what's coming next for Movie Emporium. Also, check out these two videos. They're amazing. I think they're awesome. I think you'll enjoy them too. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.